Never be limited by other people's limited imaginations. Welcome to Storymakers. My name is Keshav Puri. And in this show, we make you meet some lovely, great entrepreneurs who have limitless goals. And if you're watching past 2-3 episodes, I've been very fortunate that I'm meeting some really young and naive entrepreneurs, and the way the entrepreneurial wave is taking a lovely turn, especially in young generation, is impeccable. Allow me to welcome the abundance of knowledge, Aryan Aswani, who is a 15-year-old kid and he owns a company. Hi man, first of all. How are you? Pleasure meeting.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So how's life going?
It's been good.
Good?
Yeah.
Lovely. So usually I ask my guest that how was your childhood, what you did then, 20 years later you're doing this. What should I ask you is my question.
To you.
Because come on, like what should I ask you? Okay, so let's just address the elephant in the room, the project Arya, which we'll be talking about, and it has a lot of noise, in the market, is what I hear and see. But now I would first love to understand, how did you came up with this idea of Project Arya?
So when I was young, I used to go to my dad's real estate office.
Okay.
And first I just used to annoy people, just run, laugh and all of that stuff.
Okay.
Just what normal kids do.
Like what we have did in our
Yes.
childhood, right?
Then I started to ask questions of why is this like that? Why does this work like it does? And how can we change it? What are the mistakes in it? And I started to point all those pointers out to my dad. And one day I went to this site which was just next to ours, and it was more on the upper end. So I saw all the architecture that they had done, the parking structure that they had set up, and basically all of the amenities that they had provided.
Okay.
And I noted them down and I gave them to my dad. I gave 2 pages to my dad of how he could implement them, what was wrong in ours which was right in theirs, what was wrong in theirs which was right in ours. So I pointed out all of those creative factors through which I started to get more into real estate and into the business that we were doing.
So you are basically that critical chap who comes and critiques and he gives his critiques to the things around.
Yeah.
Right?
Honestly, I just ask why is this like that?
Why?
Like, why couldn't it be like that? And then I just point out the connection between both.
And what was your father's reaction to your whys? Because I see a lot of fathers saying, please do your homework, don't disturb me. What did he say on that?
So at first he was shocked, but then
Of course.
when he heard me, he realized that I was right in some of the stuff that I was saying, and it could actually be implemented as no one had pointed them out before.
Wow.
Through which I started to sit in meetings and I started to give more of my creative inputs in the projects that we were doing.
And this was at what age?
8 to 10.
8 to 10. You are picking up things which are not right. Wow. What do you eat, man, in lunch, dinner? Please help, because I think we are eating the wrong dishes and all the right ones are going to you. Is it like that? But no, jokes apart. First of all, I'm really happy that I'm meeting you. And second, the more I'm reading and knowing about Project Arya, I'm really glad that somebody's coming up with a solution like this, because I think the problem has always been there, but never got noticed, or nobody came up with a solution to that problem. It was always hidden, right? So as you told me, you came up with different ideas for real estate stuff. How did Project Arya happen? Like what was going behind it?
Every
before?
company has to give some kind of public notice.
Right.
Which was the same thing with my dad's company.
Okay.
So I always heard, ye public notice diya, ye kiya, wo kiya. So from that I got to know first of all what public notices were.
Right.
Through which I understood that they give the normal man a legal clarity. They're the first step to giving the normal man who's putting all of his life savings into buying a house, the legal clarity needed to understand that ये मेरा घर है और ये मेरे को time पे मिलेगा बिना कोई problem के साथ.
Right.
That's what I realized. So I got to understand the problems of the system, through which I came up with Project Arya. And I wanted to point out one thing from the previous question, that everyone has those creative inputs. It's just the needing the confidence to point them out
Right.
and working towards them.
Absolutely, and I think a major role also is played by the parents and the elders around you, because I think without their support, it's not that possible. Don't you
Yes,
think so?
if my dad would have not listened to me
Yeah.
and not trying to take me seriously,
Yeah.
then we would have never made those changes, and I would have never even started, which is what I'm saying.
Kudos to that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. So as you pointed rightly out that public notices was a problem when it was coming on a newspaper ad, right?
Yes.
So what are, like, if you can list the problems that you noticed and you said, okay, no, I think this needs to be resolved, and then you came up with the idea of Project Arya.
So first of all, they are geographically limited, as
Right.
any newspaper has a limited circulation. Secondly,
Of course, limited to the area.
yeah, limited
Yeah.
to the locality.
Right.
Secondly, they had a language barrier, as the local law states that any public notice should be posted in its local language.
True.
Which is obvious.
Which can
but
be easily understood by the
yes,
people. Right.
but there are a lot of people who, suppose you live in Delhi, but you own land in Karnataka. So if someone puts a public notice out of your land over there, first of all, you will not get access to that newspaper.
Of course.
And even out of some world you did get access to it, you will not be able to understand it.
Right.
Thirdly,
Right.
we understood that there is a lack of accessibility and visibility due to the preference of the more prominent news pieces. So this just kind of cut short the purpose of public notices. And lastly, the cost itself, as even a small snippet can cost around 5 to 12,000, which actually shocked me when I first saw it.
Right. Right. So the cost, the accessibility, because the newspaper is limited, is what you're saying, and the language barrier.
Yeah.
So
And lastly, let's say the time span of a public notice is of 15 days.
Okay.
It will only be posted in the newspaper once.
Right.
So it has no option for archiving the public notice in itself. And
Cannot see it frequently.
yes. And I've known people who have put the public notice, they're so smart, they've put it before the long weekend. So in that, 3-4 days are gone. And before, even if the person reads it, he'll go to his lawyer, he'll tell them to send a notice. By that time, the time span only goes.
Only goes because the 3 days have gone. So then nothing is left.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I guess these are very valid points that you pointed out. So these are the 4 problems that you try to.
Yeah, these are the 4
focus
major
on.
problems.
Major problems. What are the minor ones in case you want to tell anything about them?
So, can I share a story over here?
Yeah, please. Why not? The
So-
show is story makers. Come on.
It's more of people living outside the country that are getting in trouble, because I knew someone who had a lot of property in India.
Okay.
But after they sadly passed away, their son moved to the US to do his work, while the daughter got married in India. But after the daughter got divorced, she forced her mother to put public notices out of all of their dad's properties, through which all of her dad's properties were now under her name. But due to the lack of visibility and accessibility, the son wasn't aware of this in the US.
Oh.
So he sadly got paralysis, because of which he could no longer work. So when he came back to India, he realized he had nothing in his hands.
Man.
And the daughter wasn't even able to provide him with simple resources.
Rightly said, and we can see a lot of people are moving to US or Canada for that matter, and they have a lot of properties here. So again, that's a big barrier, I feel.
Yeah.
So
Because the problem is that they're not aware of it.
not aware
Because there's
Of
no
course.
resource to be aware of it.
Yeah.
Due to which, when they come back, even if they have a legal problem against it, they would just say that we had released this public notice from this date to this date.
Correct.
And we did our work,
Right.
which is not fair towards them.
Correct.
And this creates a loophole for the other side.
Right. Because both are right.
Yeah.
First of all, both are right, but because we don't have such kind of resources, so that's where the problem.
Yeah, that's where
comes
the
in.
lack of interconnectedness
The
comes.
communication is also not there
As
properly.
the person who is sending the public notice and the person and the target audience that wants to read it and raise a dispute
they're
is not
unaware.
there at all.
Yeah, there's the gap is really big.
Yes.
So you kind of bridging the gap.
Yes.
Between the person who is sending the notice and
The person who's reading
the
it and
audience.
raising a dispute.
Right. Fantastic, man. Lovely. All right. So let's come to the challenges. Now we understood that what your focus point is,
Yes.
and where you are targeting. What is your aim, right? But I'm sure there are a lot of challenges that have come your way. So if you can point out few challenges that you are facing or you had faced earlier also.
So first of all, as a 15-year-old, I was in really into newspapers.
Uh-huh.
So, understanding them, understanding the problem, and researching all of that knowledge took time, and it took a lot of effort. But if you put time towards it and you're determined, then it's easy to understand, and it was easy to innovate on.
Right, right. So, so when you are bringing this idea in front of people or probably government agencies or any other agency who can come up with you, collaborate with you, and make this project Arya a bigger project. So, is there any challenges that you face while showcasing Project Arya to others?
Not really, because I knew that this problem needs to be addressed.
Right.
And Project Arya has the potential to do so.
Of course.
Because of which it gave me the confidence to speak out.
But are the agencies getting what you are trying to say? Are they coming on board is my question to you.
So until now, we have not managed to get the government collaboration.
Right.
But for this idea to really work, for it to be mandatory that people need to put their public notices as e-notices on our portal, we require a government collaboration to achieve the full potential of Project Arya.
Right. So you are basically looking forward to any government collaboration so that the Project Arya can really reach where it should be,
Yes.
right? Or where it should land.
We're also looking to collaborate with the great work that Digital India as a movement has already done.
Right.
Because I'll quote this on them, as it says that Digital India creates a digital infrastructure as a utility for every Indian.
Absolutely.
Which is the kind of digital infrastructure we at Project Arya try to create ourselves as well.
Lovely. So, if you can help me with this thing in detail, what are the benefits that Indian citizens will have apart from having e-notices, which you rightly said, but what are some hidden benefits which are there in Project Arya for the Indian citizens?
So the main thing that we provide is one big hub for anything that is public notices, as the user will be able to easily publish, review and raise disputes to public notices out of any possible sector.
Okay.
Because each sector has to give out some kind of public notices.
Right.
This includes governments, companies and any person as well.
Right.
Secondly, we're offering a language translation system which will take out the language barrier that is in public notices. As when someone accesses a e-notice on the portal, they'll be able to translate it in all of the different major local languages, which is already something that has been applied in other government websites as well.
True.
Thirdly, we'll be able to offer global accessibility through a personal filterized system, where a person can pin his geographical locations. He can pin the different type of assets that he owns or is interested in. And thirdly, they can pin keywords through which they will they will receive instant notifications on their mail and on the dashboard.
Okay.
And secondly, the dashboard has been filterized in a way that it is categorized into government notices, corporate public notices and private public notices, which can further be filterized into different types of assets, industries and date and times. So it has been filterized and worked upon in a way where people can easily publish a public notice, any different type of public notice, and can also raise a dispute from wherever.
And to anybody, like worldwide,
Yes.
it can reach out to people. Fantastic. I think you rightly have said things about the website and how the Project Arya works. So if anybody who is watching us right now, if they can visit Project Arya, where they can go, if you can just tell in this camera to people who are watching you how they can reach out to you or Project Arya.
So my personal email is Aryan Aswani 002@gmail.com.
All right. This is how they can reach to you directly.
This is how they can contact me. And for the portal to be launched,
Right.
the working has been done. Everything has been done has been done, but we're just waiting for the government collaboration.
All right.
So as that happens, we'll get to working so that the portal is up on the internet.
Right. So the working on the website and the portal is still going on.
Yes.
And you need a government collab to kind of launch it.
To get the final product on the net.
On the net, because that collaboration is very much necessary for you, right?
Yes.
Nice. Also, I would love to know if you can just brief me about the technology behind Project Arya, because I can see you've researched it really well. You are a creative chap. You've picked out the wrongs that are there, and then you kind of trying to solve it with the rights that you have in your mind, right? So this is what I've understood from you. But now, if you can help me with the tech part, the technology involved behind Project Arya, and can tell the people who are watching this.
So we would incorporate Google Maps into this.
Okay.
Which is a really common method.
Of course.
Through which people can easily pin those locations.
Of course.
Secondly, we'll include the web into this, through which they can pin the keywords.
Right.
And we would use AI for the local translation system.
Right. I was coming to this. Okay, lovely.
So
AI will translate that thing into local language.
Something that is already in practice in other websites as well.
Right.
And with the help of Digital India, we will also aim to create a cloud. Because when people pin these locations, these assets and all these keywords, then we create a good database, which needs to be stored properly to avoid bad use of the portal itself.
Right. And the data is also safe.
Yes.
And no forgery happens, or probably no misuse happens with the data.
We are trying to provide transparency and user friendliness, which was something I believe lacked in the previous traditional system.
So you are building your own AI on it, or you are trying to outsource or get somebody else bring you technology?
We would possibly try to outsource the AI technology.
Okay.
As I'm not a coder.
I know. So what my point was that maybe you can hire somebody in your team who can do that, or you can probably just outsource the whole AI part to somebody else who can just do it for you.
We would try to hire a team and make a community,
right,
because we want to bring interconnectedness to the entire system itself.
Right. Of course.
So outsourcing the entire makes sense at all.
Absolutely. This was I was trying to mention and say. Fantastic, man. I think you have a lovely knowledge on various things which an entrepreneur should have. Why I'm asking you this, because I always think in my mind, this guy is 15 years, come on. So how can he know all of this? But I am flabbergasted by the kind of knowledge and in-depth, detailed knowledge that you have, the kind of information you have about the project that you work on. Kudos to that. All right. I also want to understand how Project Arya will earn money. What is the business model of Project Arya? That's also very important.
So, while comparing it to the prices of posting it in the newspaper,
you can do
we
that.
would, I think, cover 20% of the actual price.
Okay.
As we're taking out all the physical costs of a newspaper, through which people will also have to pay less to publish a public notice, to raise a dispute, and all of this they can do on them by themselves.
Okay.
And we would also be coming up with membership schemes, because like industries like, where a lot of lawyers usually have multiple clients who they need to review and post public notices for. For which we will also release memberships and
subscriptions.
Memberships and subscriptions. And through the memberships, they would be able to access the personal filterized system in a whole another level, as they can pin multiple assets, multiple different locations, and any amount of keywords that they want.
Fantastic.
Which is the kind of revenue model we're looking to put out.
Because that's how you'll have repeated customers. And probably they'll stick with Project Arya and with you for a longer term.
Yes.
And you can have that money also flowing in. Fantastic. So any government agency who is watching us right now, I would try and say that please reach out to Aryan, because he's doing a wonderful job. And the way I understood that how he's solving the problem is remarkable, and it's the problem is very much there. It is just that we need to resolve it. So who better than Aryan to help us out in it? And lovely, fantastic. All right, so and then we spoke about a lot of things, but coming back to this entrepreneurial thing, what do you feel about it? Like becoming an entrepreneur, because being with your dad, telling a few do's and don'ts, and helping with some wrongs and rights, right, is a different thing.
Yes.
But being an entrepreneur yourself, you think of having your own company, your own organization. How do you feel about that?
So obviously, when I was small, and
Right.
I've worked upon multiple startups.
Yeah.
And I used to get really excited because I would get to work and give my inputs on all of the different things that we need to do, like work on the finances, on the
Right.
advertisement, on the different revenue sources, on the market
Right.
potential.
Right.
So all of these things and getting into all of the aspects is what interests me,
Uh-huh.
and which is
Fantastic.
what I aim to do in Project Arya as well.
Fantastic.
Involve myself in everything, so I'm
Wow.
able to learn and get more experience to
Wow.
do future work as well.
I would love to know, before I leave you and before we end this, right, I really would love to know, can you tell me about your friends? How many friends do you have? Multiple
Is what
friends?
I can say.
Oh, lovely. And what kind of personal life you have? Like you go to school?
Yes,
Yes?
I am a full-time student and I play sports as well.
Okay. Which ones? If you can
I
mention.
like to play football, table tennis, cricket, multiple sports.
Okay.
I have been playing since I was 6 years old.
Okay.
And I like to put effort into everything that I do
Uh-huh.
because I'm appreciative of all the opportunities that I've got. So I like to pay back those opportunities with my 100%.
So you get time to play, to read, to become an entrepreneur, to handle a company, So you have 24 hours, right?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'd say around 18,
So how many hours you sleep?
around 6 to 7.
6 to 7, right? Good sleep you take, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. So you manage in those 17, 18 hours. All of this is remarkable. I would say thank you for inspiring me as an individual and many others who is watching this episode. It was fantastic having you. And I wish you all the best for Project Arya.
Thank you.
And I hope to see you soon with some great news, okay?
Yeah.
I really want to see this big. And I really, ask my audience who is watching right now, go, man, follow him. If you want to email, please do that. If you want to connect with this guy, you can do that. This guy's Pune, right?
Yes.
Landed Delhi for this lovely shoot and for other works as well. I think it was great having you. And
Thank you for providing me with this platform to
Oh.
talk about Project Arya so I could reach out.
Man, Storymakers is all about that.
Yeah.
We bring some great stories which inspire people and which make them think that whatever they are doing right now, who is watching on their screens, right? Whatever they are doing right now, they can do much, much better if they put in some extra effort.
Yes.
So that's the game.
If people are willing to make a change, they put that much work towards it,
True
then
that.
they'll definitely get results.
Absolutely, you said it right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. And we have this one common thing. We love sneakers.
Yes.
He is more of a sneaker head than me, but we'll talk about sneakers later. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, so this was the episode with Aryan Aswani, who is a 15-year-old entrepreneur doing great with Project Arya. I wish him all the best. Thank you so much for being with us and watching Storymakers and loving Storymakers. I'll bring more such videos and more such stories to you. And I hope I am being able to inspire you in any little way I can. Thank you so much for joining us.